Barefaced Night begins with Feyre. She's the youngest daughter of a king in a faraway fantastical kingdom, and she's just too wild and too free-spirited for the constraints of the court that she lives in. And she goes out into the mountains, into the forest, looking for a sense of freedom, and there she meets a bear with a beautiful golden crown. The bear says, if you come and marry me, if you come and live with me, you can have this crown. And she's so richly tempted by this possibility that she agrees, and she goes with him, and she goes back with him to his palace, and she discovers when she's there that actually he's not a bear at all. He's a man under a curse. So he's a bear during the day and a man at night, and part of the deal with the curse is that when he is a man he must never be seen. So in the dark, in complete darkness where she can't see a thing, he comes to her and they fall deeply in love, and she has this fantastic marriage to this beautiful man that she loves with all her heart, and she sees him as a bear during the day and at night in the dark, unable to see anything. She has this beautiful time with him. But after time, the temptation gets too much. She longs to see this man that she loves so much. And one night it overwhelms her and she lights a candle, and she's taking the candle, she's bringing it closer and closer to his face when wax drips onto his chest and wakes him. And he wakes up and he's furious and distraught. He says, 3 days, 3 more days of this curse and I would have been around all the time. If you hadn't looked at me, I'd have been returned to my human state, but now I have to leave. And he leaves and he runs and he flees from the palace, and she's just left completely alone with him gone. And she doesn't know what to do, so she leaves as well. And she goes and she journeys and she journeys and she journeys through the forest, through the sea, through a land of fog and mist, through a land of darkness, until eventually, having crossed the whole world, she comes to the court of the Hag Queen. And it turns out that the Hag Queen is the one who cursed Valamon in the first place. And this is where he is, and this is where she can hopefully save him and get him back. But somehow she has to find the right gift. She has to give the right gift to the Hag Queen that he will awake, he will cease to be a bear, he'll be awake as a man, and she can see him and be with him. And so then it becomes her kind of ultimate end to find what that right gift is. And that's the climax of the story. So in terms of how the creative process is going to work, me and Cedric choreograph together. Generally we try and choreograph almost the whole show, and then we will go through that in rehearsals, teach it to dancers, play around with it, see what works, see what doesn't work. But now that we have Anya on board from the beginning with the music, we're also intending to have very integrated rehearsals where the musicians are there with the dancers and doing some improvisation, working off each other so the musicians can see what's happening just as the dancers can, and try and create each scene kind of together, particularly as we're going to have dancers with percussion attached to them at times. Like, they're going to be making the music just as much as the musicians are going to be in each scene, and therefore having a role within the story and within the characters. Between the three of us, myself, Cedric and Anya, we all have experience in a really wide range of dance styles, so kind of ballet, contemporary, modern, ballroom, Latin, salsa, flamenco, tango, are the main ones, with other bits and pieces as well. So what we're really looking to do is to use all those styles and more, and whatever we have from our cast and the skills that they bring. The different styles work so well for different parts of the story. So hopefully the show will contain all of them in different parts and different places, working to create the dynamics and the journey that Feyre, the main character, and Valamon, her lover, go on during the story. Integral to this then is the chorus of dancers who are going to enable that whole journey to happen. They need to be incredibly fluid, incredibly slick, and competent dancers who have a range of styles within the body of the chorus, people with different skills and different backgrounds, so that they can create suddenly a salsa party scene, and then suddenly a very strictly ballroom party in Feyre's first home, as two examples. And we intend to use whatever skills the cast bring us. So if we have people who are very competent on point, then we would love to work that into the show just as much as if we get people who trained only in flamenco or in line dancing or anything, to work that in as well. So the whole thing is very integrated and very involved process. And then the storytelling and the poetry is slightly separate. There's just particular points in the story where words, either as a kind of narration or as a kind of expression of what the characters are thinking and feeling, are woven in either on top of the dance or separately, leading us from one side of the journey to the next. And for that we're going to audition for different people, not dancers, because we really want to get the focus on the voice and the kind of voice acting. Just as there are also two characters within the show, within the story, who are kind of in opposition to Feyre and Valamon, the two lovers, and so they don't dance either. For them it's strictly about their acting ability and their physical theatre. We're looking for people to fill all of these roles and to bring everything they can together, so that no matter what performance, skill or interest you have, there's going to be a place for that within the show, and we can work it all into a tapestry of different styles and ideas.